Hello everyone, welcome to jeetneetvidyalaya. Today here we are with the evolution series of part 4. Today's video we are going to discuss about evolution of life forms, that is the father of evolution, that is a Charles Darwin, right? In the previous video I have shown you this slide, that is an overview of evolution. Total evolution chapter I have divided into 7 parts. Maximum students will feel difficulty to understand the second year evolution chapter of NCERT, that points all are in a scattered manner, so that I have just made one overview of the evolution chapter, like as parts wise I am going to upload. In that, the first part 1 video, I have spoken about the origin of universe. The title of the video will be Big Bang Theory by Shalu ma'am. Second video will be the origin of earth. The total origin of earth and atmosphere, how was formed for the first time, what are the conditions was there, I have spoken in that video. Third video, I have given about the origin of life. Total the theories of origin of life I have given in the third video. We have spoken about some tricks to remember that theories of origin of life also. Today video I am going to explain the evolution of life forms. So evolution of life forms. For that we have some theories of evolution of species. So better the students who are watching this video, if you are the second year or preparing it for the Neet, better to write this small glance of overview of evolution chapter in your NCERT chapter, in your NCERT. By that you will come to know that which topics comes under which one, because here I have mentioned every point in clear. Please check it once this slide, right? Now, right, let me start it with the evolution of life forms. Life forms, we can also call it as a species. In this video, I am going to explain the theories of evolution of species. So, imagine, whenever the origin of life is happened on the earth, right? After the life is formed on the earth, in that life, how the life has got evolved, right? How the species has got evolved. So that theories we are going to discuss here. So the different scientists, they have given some theories how the evolution of species is happened on the earth. According to our NCERT, right? According to our NCERT, we are going to discuss the 4 theories. One is a Darwinism theory, which is also called as natural selection theory, which was given by Charles Darwin. Second theory, which is a Lamarckism theory, which is also called as theory of inheritance of acquired characters, or also called as use and disuse theory, which was given by Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. Third theory, which is also called as mutation theory, and it was given by Hugo de Vares. And fourth theory, Neo-Darwinism theory, or also called as modern synthetic theory. Ma'am, this theory is not given in the NCERT if you have read it NCERT properly. Beta, NCERT has not given. But example for Neo-Darwinism theory, which is the example called, which is the example we can consider it as a Hardy-Weinberg principle, comes under this Neo-Darwinism theory. Let me discuss in detail about all these theories. Am I clear? Right. All these theories were given in the NCERT in a scattered way, like as mutation theory has given under the mechanism of evolution, right? So Lamarckism theory in another page it has given, Darwinism theory another page. But all these theories is talking about the what? Theories of evolution of species. Now let me start with the first theory, that is a Darwinism theory, right? So Darwinism theory is also called as natural selection theory. So the first theory, Darwinism theory, it is a evolutionary theory which was proposed by a scientist called as Charles Robert Darwin. Generally we used to spoke like as Charles Darwin, but his full name will be the Charles Robert Darwin, and he is the father of evolution because he has contributed a lot of his work to understand what is exactly the evolution is here. And he was born in the Feb 12th of 1809 in the England, and he was a naturalist, and he was a geologist, and he was a biologist also. As the Charles Darwin has interest on the different fields as in the nature or geologist or biologist. He has contributed a lot of work towards the evolution, how the species is evolved, so that we can consider the Charles Darwin as a father of evolution. And all his ideas, whatever the work he done for the evolution of species, he has written in the book calling it as On the Origin of Species by means of natural selection. In a simple way, we used to call them as a Origin of Species. Origin of Species book was written by the scientist called Charles Darwin. If you have watched my last video, third video, which is about the origin of life, I have given one point there. Origin of Life is also a one book which was written by the which scientist, right? So in the third video I have given you this point, that Origin of Life. I think so in this chapter totally we will remember the 4 books, right, and their authors you have to get remember. In that 2 books I have told you until now. One is the Origin of Life, which was written by which scientist? Try to comment below by watching that video, right? If you know, please comment here. Origin of Species is written by Darwin, Charles Darwin. Let me talk about what is exactly the Darwinism theory. Before going to talk about the postulates of Darwinism theory, there is a one story in NCERT, like as how the Charles Darwin has done the bios, right? Actually, the Charles Darwin, because of the scientist called as Henslow. Henslow was a senior to the Darwin. Because of Henslow scientist suggestion, the Darwin wanted to prove that the evolution of species, how it is happened actually. Actually, the Charles Darwin in the 19th century, right? Charles Darwin in the 19th century, he wanted to disprove the theory called as theory of special creation. He wanted to disprove the theory called as theory of special creation, which I have given you in the last video, that is the Origin of Life theories. So he wanted to disprove this theory. As he wanted to disprove this theory, because of Henslow's suggestion, the Darwin started a bios, right? Bios, the word meaning itself a long travel, right? For a longer period of time, any person is going to be get travel, then we will call it as a bios. Bios could be, it can be through road, it can be on road, or it can be through anything, right? So if the long travel, if it is happening, we will call it as a what here, no? Bios. Actually, the Charles Darwin at the age of 22, the Darwin went to Bios for how many years here, no? 5 years, on a world survey ship of British government. Actually, the Charles Darwin, as he was related to England, right? So he wanted to go for sea bios, right? Actually, it was a sea bios, right? He has started his journey through the sea, so we can consider that as a sea bios. There was a one ship which is world survey ship of the British government, is just starting its journey actually. So that ship name we can call it as a, what is the ship name here, no? HMS Beagle, right? Ma'am, why you have drawn this ship here now? We know that what is a ship actually, but I have drawn this ship to tell you that it is a type of a sail ship. It is a type of what here, no? Sail ship, right? So this is a type of a sail ship where the ship name we will call it as a HMS Beagle. He started his journey in the which year here, no? 1831, right? Through a which ocean here, no? Pacific Ocean. You just remember all these points just like as a story beta. That's it. If you remember like as a story, you just go on with the NCERT lines to be get remember like as a butty manner. You can't remember the evolution chapter. Understand the concept here, no? There was a Charles Darwin was taken the suggestion of Henslow because he wanted to disprove the one theory called as special creation theory, right? Special creation theory in the 19th century. He was in the 22 of age. The Charles Darwin has started his bios. Which type of bios? Sea bios. Through the sea, he traveled for a longer period of time. by a ship calling it as HMS Beagle, and that HMS Beagle ship was World Survey ship of British government, as it was moving right through which ocean here? Pacific Ocean. It is a type of a sail ship. Sail ship is nothing but the ship which is just moving according to the wind, right? So he started his journey in the 1831, and he completed his journey in the which year here? 1836. He returned to England in 1836. In the sense, how much the duration beta? 1831 he started, and 1836. How much the duration is? For 5 years. Total for 5 years he has done this sea voyage. Ma'am, why he went for sea voyage? Why this 5 years he continuously traveled here? Because he wanted to see that whenever the ship is going to be get halt in the areas wherever the islands will be there, wherever the night or the island, wherever the ships is going to get move, they are going to be get halt somewhere. And that reason he wanted to see the different varieties of the species, how they are, what is their structure, what is their nutrition, what is their habitat, how they are behaving, why the differentiation is there between the species. All these things he has just observed and he has started noted down here, right? For 5 years, by moving or by doing the traveling through this HMS Beagle, he went to areas wherever the border lines will be there to the ocean, and wherever the halting is going to be happen, wherever the forest will be there, he just went into there and he was started observing all the things like in this way, right? So throughout these 5 years he has moved to one more island which is calling it as a Galapagos Island, right? One of the very important island where the Charles Darwin has done a lot of research over there. Galapagos Island, it was a group of small islands, right? It was a group of small islands here, right? So he collected the specimens from the South America also, Galapagos Island also, Australia also, and Africa also. But the very famous of the Charles Darwin work will be seen in the where here, no, Galapagos Island. In these 5 years he done this sea voyage total, right? Okay, this is some small story like structure you should remember for sure. What he given the conclusion we will discuss. I am just revising this slide again here, no. Charles Darwin, who is the father of evolution, he has written a book called as Origin of Species, right? In that Origin of Species he has given the theory called as Darwinism theory. And before going to discuss about that Darwinism theory, Charles Darwin has given that theory because of the sea voyage what he has done. Because of suggestion of Henslow, Darwin started the sea voyage in the year of 1831. He completed in the year of 1836. Means he has done this journey for 5 years. Throughout these 5 years, he has visited to different areas and different islands or different countries and everything. He has observed the different types of species over there, and he has done the journey through HMS Beagle ship, and the ship name is HMS Beagle. The type of ship it is a sail ship here. Am I clear this slide? Right. No. Next. Right. And after coming back to England, the Charles Darwin, he read some books actually. He was influenced by 3 publications actually. He came back to England after his sea voyage. He got all the information, whatever he wanted, whatever he observed over there and everything. And after he came back, he had read some 3 books actually. One is Essay on Principles of Population, right, overpopulation, which was written by Thomas Malthus. Second one, Principles of Zoology, which was written by Sir Charles Lay. Third one, On the Tendency of Varieties of Depart from Original Types, which was written by Alfred Russel Wallace. Actually, these 2 is not given in the NCERT. This is given in the NCERT. The Thomas Malthus has written a book. Based upon the reading this book only, the Charles Darwin has got influenced and he wrote a book called as Origin of Species. Okay, now what is the conclusion after these 5 years he has done the journey, right? There is a conclusion like existing life forms. Every point is there in the NCERT, but I am not telling out of NCERT. If you observe the NCERT lines carefully, you will have all these points here. Existing life forms share similarities to varying degrees, not among themselves but also the life forms existing million years ago. What it mean as here? Imagine, listen to me carefully. He wanted to tell you that as he observed a lot of species, right beta, in that 5 years he has seen the different organisms here. In the different organisms characters, the existing species is nothing but present day species, can I say, right? We are the existing species only, na? We are not the extinct species, we are the existing species. So the present day species what are there on this earth will have a similarities to varying degrees. Varying degrees is nothing but I am teaching you the NCERT lines. I am trying to make you understand the NCERT lines. Please see the NCERT again and just write it as a notes here, right? Present day species having a similarity with some different characters, means varying is nothing but some different difference is there in the characters, not among themselves, not among the present day species. There is a similarity between the, but also life forms existed million years ago, which was already has become extinct. So million years ago what was the species was there. Now the present day species what are there in between these two species with little changes, with little difference, varying degree is nothing but with little difference. There are the similarities are there in the characters. I repeat the point. Present day species, the species which was there in the million years ago, in between these species there are the similar characters are there with little varying degree, with little changes in their characters are there. This is the first conclusion what the Charles Darwin has given after his sea voyage. Look at the second conclusion. Many such life forms, right? Many such life forms is nothing but species, do not exist anymore, that became extinct in years gone. It means as the species which are present, which are showing similarities between present day species and extinct, I mean whatever the million years ago species, some species has already become extinct and the character which is there in that species is still present in the existing species. I repeat the point again. Existing species, present day species, extinct means which was there million years ago. Imagine a dinosaur. Let me take example. Dinosaur is one of the extinct species which was present on this earth years ago. The dinosaur character is still present in the existing species, like as you can take the birds, right? Some of the characters of the dinosaurs will be present in the birds. Bird is an existing species, but the character which is there in the bird was from the dinosaur which has become the extinct. I hope so you got my point. This is what he wanted to tell you. Third thing here is there has been a gradual evolution. Gradual evolution means slow evolution of life forms. In the species, the sudden of changes is not happened. Slowly the evolution, slowly the changes, slowly the characters got changed. Any population has built-in variation in its characters. If I imagine there are the two organisms where they are evolving, when they are evolving, in this species gradual changes is happen. If the change is happened means it has showed some variation. Variation is nothing but a character, right? Variation is nothing but about here, no? Character. Some different character will be shown in that organisms, right? Has built-in variation in characteristics. So the changes, variations is nothing but changes which is happened in their characteristics. We can consider that as a variations, right beta? So these 3 points he has told you that. So in the species, I revise the 3 points again here, right? So what he want to tell you, after his 5 years of sea voyage journey, existing species, present day species is having a similarities with the species which was million years ago. Second point, the species which was million years ago, they have become extinct, but still that species characters are there in existing species. In that species, the evolution is not happened rapid, it was very slow, gradually it is happened. When the species has showed the evolution, it means as it is because of variation in characteristics, means changes in characteristics. By that new life forms has got formed. That formation of new life forms only we can call it as a evolution. Simple beta, evolution is nothing but a change. The change which is happening in the characteristics, we will call it as what? Evolution. Like that, slowly the evolution of species is happened on this earth. This is the conclusion was given by the Charles Darwin. Even when the Charles Darwin was doing all these work, right, he started in the 1831 up to 1836. Actually, he has read this all books. I had told you here, he has read the books around it's 1840 or 45, right? After reading these books, in the 1856, if I am not wrong, he has written the book called as Origin of Species. Around 20 years, around 20 to 25 years, he worked upon this evolution of species. Along with this, when the Charles Darwin was doing this, all the research and everything upon the evolution of species, there was one more scientist called as Alfred Wallace. Alfred Wallace was also a naturalist, beta. This scientist also worked on the same point what the Charles Darwin was worked in that 5 years, where to show the variations in the species. But he worked in the Pacific Ocean of Galapagos Islands majorly, by doing the sea whales. Same thing point also was done or worked upon the same point by Alfred Wallace, but he worked in the Malay archipelago. Malay archipelago is a group of islands which is there in the Indian Ocean, right? He worked in the Pacific Ocean, he worked in Indian Ocean, he worked majorly on the Galapagos Island in his sea whales, he worked in the Malay archipelago, which is a group of islands. Present it is there in the Indonesia. This Malay archipelago place is present in the Indonesia, and he gave the same conclusion actually. Can I tell you one extra point here? Like as when the Alfred Wallace was doing the work, same was also done by Charles Darwin. Both the scientists were contemporarily. I hope so this point is given in the NCERT. Contemporarily means at the same time, the Charles Darwin and Alfred Wallace has done the same work. What is the work? To show that evolution of species, how it is happened. When both the scientists are doing the same work, but both the scientists don't know that they are doing on the same point, right? When they came to know actually, when the Alfred Wallace was not related to the England, Charles Darwin was related to England. At that time in the 18th centuries like that, the England was a upper hand, isn't it? Yeah, that was a ruling actually. So the Alfred Wallace has to send his thesis and his project work and everything to the England to get approved, right? To get a patent or to get approved by the scientist here. At that time, when the Alfred Wallace has sent his report to the England to get approved, then they come to know that same work was also done by Charles Darwin, right? Then they come to know that until then 5 years or 6 years both are doing the same point, but they don't know each other, they are doing on the same point. But when he sent that all the thesis or report to the England to get approved here now, so that they came to know. At that time, of course, the England was the upper hand as they have done both the work same also, but the total credit of Darwinism theory or the natural selection theory or the evolution of species was given by the whom here now? Charles Darwin, because he was related to England, upper country, isn't it here? So upper hand it will be there obviously. So but there is both contribution will be there in the natural selection theory, but the total credit will be given to the Charles Darwin as he was related to the England here. So Alfred Wallace is also one of the important scientists what he had to get. Remember, same work was done by the Alfred Wallace also, but in the different island we can say. Right now, let me start about the exactly what is the natural selection theory or Darwinism theory. Here we are discussing about the postulates of natural selection theory. This theory actually, Darwinism theory, it explains how the evolution might have occurred in nature. Evolution means what I told you, beta, change. The change which is occurred in species, right? The change which is occurred in the species. This is explained, detailed in this theory called as Darwinism theory, right? Generally in NCERT, Darwinism theory points they did not given in the sequential way how I have written on the board now, right? But Every point is given in the NCERT in different phrases, in different topics. All those postulates I just made it as a one points here, right? By that you will come to know that this point comes under Darwinism theory. Am I clear? Now let me discuss. Let me start with the postulates of Darwinism theory. Over millions of years, through gradual changes in species, these principles based on some key elements, like in that first one is overproduction of population. Overproduction of population. The first postulate I can call it as a overproduction of population. It means, as the Darwin has told that every organism which is present on this earth, the first postulate of natural selection theory, every organism which is present on this earth wanted to increase their number in a large population. Means every organism is increasing their number in a which ratio I can say here? In a geometric ratio. I hope so you have an idea that geometric ratio is nothing but the population is increasing 2 into 2, 2 into 2, 2 into 2 in that way. Isn't it here? So in the geometric ratio, the population is increasing, the number of species on this earth are increasing more. That is what we are considering it as a overproduction. Okay. Second postulate, the Darwin has told that population is increasing more on this earth, but the resources are limited, right? But the resources are limited. Resources is nothing but what we can consider food and shelter, right? So whenever the organism is increasing their number more and more in a large population, in a large widely here, then the resources, if they are limiting, right? So the resources are growing in the which manner we told? Arithmetic ratio. Arithmetic ratio is nothing but what we can say here. Arithmetic ratio is nothing but the population is growing in a like as 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 and 2 plus 2. You just calculate. Just you know that, but I'm just telling you example. 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16. Am I right here? Right, the population was increasing in a geometric ratio like as 16, but the resources which is present on this earth is growing in a arithmetic ratio. 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 2 it will be the 8. So you just understand the population was 16 but the resources were 18. Means that is what the Charles Darwin wanted to tell you here. Now population is growing in a overly here, that's what he called it as overproduction of species, but the resources are becoming limited. It was growing in a geometric ratio and it is growing in a arithmetic ratio. Whenever the resources has become the limited, when the population is more, so what will happen? But a third thing, competition occurs. The competition between the organisms is going to be happen. Imagine if this is a geographical area, the population is there here, but the resources are limited in this geographical area. In between the population, obviously what will start here now for the resources? Competition. That competition which occurs between organisms itself, he called it as a what here now? Struggle for existence. Obviously those population, the organisms which are there, they had to get struggle for existence because the resources are became what here now? Limited, right? But this competition which is happening in between the organisms will be the three types, like as intra-specific competition. Intra, the word meaning itself what here no? Within, same species. The competition between the same species, like as dog and dog, cat and cat, right? If the milk is there, cat and cat is going to be compete for the same resource, whatever is there here. If it is a dog, if it is a fox, whatever, between the same species, if the competition will happen, we will call it as intra-specific competition. If the competition is between the same species, can I say no? That will happen for mating also. Competition could be for mating. Competition could be for food also. Competition could be for what here no? Shelter also, because they are the same species. Mating also they will compete, and for food and shelter also they will compete. That type of competition we will call it as a intra-specific competition. Second type of competition, that is inter-specific competition. Inter is nothing but between two different species. If the competition is happened, we will call that type of competition as interspecific competition. Whenever the competition is between two different species, it will happen either for shelter, either for food, but not for mating, isn't it? Yeah. Intraspecific competition will be happen between the same species. There the for mating also competition will be there. But interspecific competition between the two different species, for mating they don't compete, they will compete for food and shelter. Clear? Next, third type of competition, the struggle with environment, means the competition of organism with environment, right? If the environment is suddenly getting changed, the wind is getting changed, and maybe some disaster is happened, earthquakes is happened, or the sudden rainfall is happened, storms is happening, whatever the environmental changes is happening, disaster is happening, the organism has to compete with the change of environment also. Otherwise, if it cannot compete, if it cannot able to be adapt, the organism cannot survive. So the competition could be three types. Whenever the resources is less, organisms are more, the competition will start between the organisms. Three types: intraspecific, interspecific, struggle with environment. When the competition is happened, when it is competing here, no, the organisms which are present, they will show the variations among the individuals. Because for what? For adaptation. When the competition is happening, if they want to win, they should have some variation, they should have some character to be win in that region, right? So in the organisms, they will show the variations among the individuals. Look at here, organisms within a species show some different variations in traits, in characters, like a size or color or strength or their function or their fighting effect, whatever the thing here, no, or adaptation also. The organisms, they will show some variation. Some variations are maybe favorable, which can able to win that area, which can able to adapt in that area, but while others will be the harmful. Which organism, look at here now. Imagine here the two organisms are there. This organism is showing some variation, right? They are competing actually. When they are competing here, no, this organism has showed, when this organism has showed some variation and some new character, some strength or something, obviously this organism is going to get the what here, no, survival of fittest, right? So it can survive in this environment to get, it can able to fit in this environment to be get survived. That's what we can call this as a, it is showing the which selection here, no, natural selection. The nature will select the organism who will show the variation. Other organism is going to become eliminated, it is going to be get die, it is going to be get not flourish because it is not showing any variation. The nature will select the organism who will show the variation. That organism will get the survival of the fittest. That's what the organism with beneficial variation survive and reproduce, and those organisms only will get the what here, no, reproductive fitness. Other organism is going to get die, this organism will get the reproductive fitness, and even this organism only will have a capability of producing the offspring, right? So look at here, the next thing here, the organism which can able to get the reproductive fitness, that get the capability of inheritance of that inheritance of favorable characters. So the organism who will get the reproductive fitness, right, the organism who will get the reproductive fitness, that will show variation, that will able to produce a offspring. If this organism only will able to inherit the traits to the offspring, isn't it here? So the traits that help survival or passed on to the next generation, over time these traits will become common in the population. This is the next one he told. And then he told that which organism is able to get inherit the characters to the offspring, that organisms will have a ability to do the what here now? Speciation. What is exactly the meaning of speciation? That is the formation of new species. We will call it as a speciation. Gradually the characters which was showed, which was inherited, it will accumulate of changes of those characters. It leads to formation of what here now? New species. Whenever the new species is going to form, it means as the evolution of species is happened over millions of years. These results has seen in which we can call this is a biological diversity. Charles Darwin. So finally, the Charles Darwin has told that how the evolution of species is happened. He told that first point, that is there was overproduction of population on this earth, but the resources was very limited. The population is growing in a geometric ratio, but the resources is growing in a arithmetic ratio. When the resources are less, in between the species competition will happen. This competition could be a three types: intraspecific competition, interspecific competition, struggle with the environment or competition with the environment to organism. And then when the competition is happened, which organism can show the variation, that will get the reproductive fitness. The organism which will get the reproductive fitness, according to the Charles Darwin, reproductive fitness is the fitness where the organism is selected by the nature, where it will show the natural selection theory. The organism who will get the reproductive fitness, that got the ability to inherit the characters to the offspring. Then the offspring has got accumulated with the characters which able to show the some new species formation, where we will call it as a what here no? Speciation. So over a years together, this changes is gradually it is happened according to Charles Darwin. Then it has shown that different species which is present on the earth, which he call it as a biological diversity. These are the postulates of the Charles Darwin theory, we can say. But along with the postulates, there are some drawbacks for the Charles Darwin is having some criticism or drawback for his natural selection theory, which he has done and given the postulates upon that and written a book upon that also. Because what are the reasons, what are the drawbacks of Charles Darwin here or the natural selection theory? Although the Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection is widely accepted, even that is the way how the evolution of species is happened on this earth, was every scientist was accepted. But still there are some drawbacks to this theory, like as he failed to explain the mechanism by which variation will occur. He told that variations will happen, some change will happen, isn't it here? But that variation, how it will happen, what is the mechanism of variation, he did not explain. That's what Darwin explains, the survival of the fittest. So the organism who can able to show the variation, it will get survived or got fitted in that area or in that environment, he told, but not the arrival of the fittest. So how that variation is occurred in that organism, he did not explain. How the change will occur in that organism, he did not explain, because he don't have an idea about the genes or factors. He don't know about the alleles, because he did not work for genetics, right? Actually the Hugo de Vries has explained this point. Variations is happened up to Charles Darwin, it is correct, but that variations is happened because of mutations. The genes got differed, the alleles got differed. That's what explained by Hugo de Vries. But the Charles Darwin has failed to explain that point, that as he don't have an idea about these genes and alleles and everything, he did not work for the genetics. This is the first drawback for natural selection theory. Second one, he stated that variations occur randomly, right? Variations occur randomly, but he could not explain how they arise or inherit. He did not told. He told that the offsprings is going to be inherit the characters from the parents, but how it is happening, right? Randomly only why it is happening, isn't it here? So like all these some points was not explained by the Charles Darwin. There are some drawbacks for this Charles Darwin theory also, right? And this was actually corrected by the mutations theory that we are going to get discussed now. Okay, so hereby we are done with the theory. Okay, for still is we have it. The Charles Darwin Darwin theory is not explaining the occurrence of vestigial organs persist, only useful traits will get inherit. Actually, according to natural selection theory, the variations will happen that will inherit to the offsprings we have told, but there are some vestigial organs in the organisms. Vestigial organs is nothing but rudimentary or non-functional, we can say. They are also present in the organisms. Then what is the use of those? Why they are like that, right? So how the organisms is, how the traits or characters is inheriting to the next generation, all this is not explained. And he focused only on small variations will happen, he told. Directional variations happened, he told. He did not explain that why only the small variation, why the directional will happen. All these things is not explained by the Charles Darwin. So ultimately what I want to tell you, what you have to remember, and some students will get a doubt that ma'am, these points is not there in the NCERT, but it is there. You will get a questions, you try to solve the MCQs of different materials, you will find all these points here now, right? Even some points was there in the summary, I hope so, right? Drawbacks of Darwinism theory also you should remember here. So until now we completed with the what is exactly the Darwinism, what is his story of started, right? So postulates of Darwinism theory and drawbacks of Darwinism theory, we completed these things here. Now let me talk about the examples or the experimentally proof, yes, the natural selection theory which was given by the Darwin is correct. In NCERT itself they have given these examples, these proofs or these experimental supporting examples, we can say. One is the industrial melanism. In detail about this industrial melanism we will discuss in the next video, right? And DDT resistant is also example for natural selection theory. Antibiotic resistance also, even the Darwin finches is also example for natural selection theory, right? So these all examples are supporting that yes, the natural selection theory which was given by the Darwin is correct. All these things we will discuss in the next video in detail, right? I just wanted to tell you here now, these are the examples, these are showing you that natural selection theory is correct. Next, let me discuss about the next theory called as Lamarckism. The second theory which we are going to discuss is a Lamarckism, which we can also call as theory of inheritance of acquired characters, or we can also call as use and disuse theory, right? Use and disuse theory. This theory is given by the scientist called as Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, right? Jean-Baptiste Lamarck is the scientist who has given this Lamarckism theory, and he was related to the French, and he was a naturalist and he was a biologist also, and he has written a book called as Philosophy Zoologique in the year of 1809, right? Actually you should remember this point given in the NCERT beta, please check it this point here, right? If you are if whatever the point I am going to tell you, if it is there in the NCERT, if you know that yeah, this is the point correct actually, please like and share the video here, right? The book called as Philosophy Zoologique in the year of 1809 he has written. Even before the Darwin, this Lamarckism theory was given by the Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. Means Darwin was born in the 1809. If you am not wrong, you have seen here itself, right? Darwin was born in the which year here? No, 1809. When the Darwin was born, the Lamarck has given this theory called as Lamarckism, and he has written the book called as Philosophy Zoologique. In that book he written this theory called as Lamarckism, right? And that's why we have some important questions on Lamarckism. I think so NCERT has given the even before Darwin the Lamarckism theory was given. This line is there in the NCERT. Try to find out where it is there. I hope so. This line was there in the where the branching descent and natural selection, that is there, right? So first theory of evolution of species is Lamarckism. Attempted to explain the evolution scientifically. The Lamarckism theory is explained to how the evolution of species is happened scientifically, but it is not accepted here. No, why it is not accepted we will discuss, but accepted thing was natural selection theory. Yes, that is the way how the evolution of species is happened. Second thing, and the Lamarckism theory is also explains about the epigenetics, and this theory is only inspired the Darwin to do his evolution of species also here, right? To write the book called as origin of species and natural selection theory. But we remember, in evolution of species, the first theory, the primitive theory, the old theory, which we can call it as a Lamarckism. Even before Darwin, this theory was given. When the Darwin was born, this theory was given, but it is a discarded theory. That's why we are accepting now the Darwin theory actually. Why it is discarded? Now we'll discuss about the postulates of Lamarckism. Lamarckism has told that 4 main postulates, like as internal vital force, effect of environment and new needs, use and disuse of organs, inheritance of acquired characters. Ma'am, what is this all postulates here? But the first thing, let me talk about that internal vital force. He is telling that for every organism, there will be some internal vital force will be there, very important internal force will be there. Because of that force only, every organism is going to produce some new organ or new part or new character in their body. Imagine, I am the organism. Because of my internal force, because of my thoughts and because of my internal force what I have in my body, I wanted to produce one extra hand, right? So can it will going to be happen, right? As I am going to become with the 4 hands here? No. So the Lamarckism has told that every organism is going to have some internal vital force. By using that internal vital force, every organism is able to produce a new parts or new characters or new organs in their body. Of course, we know that it is not going to be happen. Second thing, effect of environment and the new needs. Every organism, when the environment is getting changed, according to the environment, there will be some new needs is going to be happen for that organism which is living in that environment. So that new needs make them to develop a new character or a new part in their body is going to tell this point. Third one, use and disuse of organs. Some organisms is going to use their organs more, right? Whenever it is overly used, that part in their body is going to be that part in their body is going to be overly, if it is used, it is going to be still present in that organism. If any organ is disused, it is not using more. I'll tell you examples also. If it is not using more, that organ is going to become the slowly to be get deleted or get eliminated from that organism, we can say. Fourth one, the organism which has got that character or that will be that inherited, that acquired character which is there in that organism will be get inherited. Ma'am, we did not understand anything over here. Right, but I gave you this all 4 points. There are some postulates to be given, that was given by the Lamarck, right? Now let me go with the examples. Now you will understand. Giraffe neck. Everyone is having an idea that giraffe, right? This is the Lamarckism theory, what he is explaining. Imagine the Lamarck was told that there was a giraffe which was with a short neck. Can you see here? There was a very short neck was there, and the legs are also, the limbs are also was very short was there. As this giraffe was having a food according to their height actually, right? So the height, according to their height, whatever the food was there available for it was completed because of their grazing, right, or the browsing, whatever is doing, right? So but then to catch the food which is beyond their height, right, which is beyond their height, it started stretching like that. I hope so you got. It started stretching like that. When the giraffe started stretching its neck to catch the food which is available beyond its head. Imagine here all the leaves which are present here, that it want to get catch. So the giraffe slowly started stretching its leg and neck also to catch the food. You can see here slowly the neck and the legs, that is the limbs, it has got raised more. Finally, by stretching its neck, it has able to be get catch the leaves over there. So whatever the neck it is stretching over here, right, whatever the neck it is stretching over here, we can call it as, right? Whatever the neck, it is stretching over here to catch the leaves. Can I call it as a overusage has happened? That overusage of the neck to catch the leaves. This long neck is an acquired character which is present in the giraffe now. Even this long limbs is also a acquired character because because of its need, it acquired this character by stretching it more, isn't it? By overusage of this particular organ in its body. So like in that way, now the giraffes which are present, they got this character because of through genetically it is inherited from parent to the offspring, so that we are calling it as a inheritance of acquired character. Whatever the overusage of this organ it has done, right? So it got inherited to the next generation. One example, they call it as a giraffe neck, right? Second one, snake limbs. Snake limbs, everyone, I hope so you know that snake is not going to have the limbs actually, but before the snakes were having the limbs actually, right? But these snakes is not using these limbs, right? They are not using these limbs. They got slowly reduced their limbs because the snakes wanted to move into that hole, into that small region, whatever is present, so that it reduced their limbs. It started to keep the limbs like this. By that, the disuse of the limbs make the snakes to do not have a limbs now, right? Slowly as the organ is not using, as a part is not using, part is not using, so the disintegration of the part is happened in the snakes. So the snakes is not having the limbs here, means disuse of organs. At some extent this point is correct according to the Lamarckism here, right? Third one, webbed toes of aquatic birds. The birds which are there in the aquatic, the birds will not have a webbed toe. I hope so you know the meaning of webbed toe. If this is a toe of the bird here, there will be the webs will be present, web like structure will be present, where it is helpful for the swimming in the aquatic, right? Birds generally will not have a webbed toes, but as they are in the aquatic region, they need to get swim. Because of that swimming region, because of swimming, they need to develop the webbed toes here now, because it's overly uses. That is the adaptation for that. We have flightless birds, the birds which cannot able to fly, they don't have a wings also, we can say here. Cave dwelling animals, the animals which were there in the caves, right? They don't expose it for the sunlight only, they don't see the sunlight, they don't use the eyes for the vision purpose. Slowly the eyes in the cave dwelling animals will be get reduced because they are not using that particular part, right? Either overly uses they have to they are doing, or the disuse of the organs they are doing. Because of that, the character which were there in that organisms is going to be get inherited. Was there in the giraffes or snakes or webbed toes of aquatic birds or the flightless birds or the cave dwelling, that is going to be get inherited. This is the Lamarckism theory is telling. But the criticism of Lamarckism theory, this theory is actually disproved by the August Weismann, who was a German biologist here, right? Ma'am, why? That is correct only, na? You only told the neck is the giraffe's neck is overly usage, or it was stretched, and that is a acquired character, I can say here, which is needed for the giraffe. It got acquired here, no, that character. Yes, of course it is correct, but the characters which was there in the organisms will not be inherited to the next generation, which is got in an acquired way. Ma'am, what is this exactly? Listen to me carefully. Actually, the Lamarckism theory is discarded theory or disproved theory, we can say. It is a discarded theory, we can say here. This was discarded by a scientist called as August Weismann, who was a German biologist, and he gave to discard this theory, he gave one more theory called as theory of continuity of germplasm. According to this theory of continuity of germplasm, the August Weismann is telling that in every organism there will be a germplasm will be present and somatoplasm will be present. What is germplasm? That is a protoplasm of the germ cells, and somatoplasm, protoplasm of a somatic cells. In our body, we know that we will have a germ cells and the somatic cells. So in every organism, there will be a two protoplasms will be there. One is a germ plasm and somatoplasm. As you know that this germ plasms is helpful to formation of the what here no gametes, and somatoplasm or the somatic cells is helpful to form the body. We can say here, never in the organisms somatic cells is not transmitted to the next generation. What is transmitted to the next generation here? So that will be the germ cells, because the germ cells are present in the where here gametes. Gametes is only able to get produce a new offsprings, right? So the gametes is able to be get transfer or transmit for the next generation. So if you want to transmit the characters to the next generation, it has to be transferred through which plasm? Germ plasm, not by somatoplasm and not by the acquired characters also here. To prove this point also, August Weismann has conducted some experiment actually, right? So to prove that which theory beta? Theory of continuity of germ plasm. To prove this theory, the scientist August Weismann has done one experiment. Like as he has taken the mice, right? He has taken the mice, imagine in that way. To explain that Lamarckism theory is wrong, he has done one experiment. Like as he has taken the mice, imagine now these are the mice, okay, like as male and one more it is the female, okay. Both the mice, he cut the tails of these mice. He don't want this character. According to the Lamarckism, we know that acquired characters is going to be get inherit for next generation, isn't it here, right? And he don't want, according to Lamarckism, he wanted to prove this point that he don't want this character, calling it as a tail. If I cut the tail and made them to get reproduce, then the offspring should not get the tail, isn't it here? But the offspring which is produced here, it has got produced the tail, right? Because the tail which is producing in this offspring, it's through genetically, it is there in the genes. The production of this tail in this mice is present in the genetically, in the genes only it is there. As he don't want this character, so that this character was just cut off the tails of the mice for kitne generations? 22 generation. Like that first generation he cut, again he cut the tail of this one, then second generation, third generation, every generation up to 22 generations he cutted the tails of this rat, either it is a male or female, whatever, because he don't want that character. According to Lamarckism, the acquired characters will be get inherit. I don't want this character, so the next offspring should not get this character according to Lamarckism. But still the every mice in every generation up to 23rd, even the 23rd generation also got the what here no tail. Why? Because the same length, same color and same nature, right? Because the tail which is producing in this is through genetically it will happen. That's what the theory of germ plasm it is telling. So the character which is there in the germ cells, right, which are able to get transferred into the gametes, this character only will be transformed to the offspring, not the acquired characters. Imagine, still if you are not able to understand this one, imagine, but acquired characters, for example, the Salman Khan is having a muscles, right, which for his profession or maybe for his shootings or whatever, he developed that muscle by his doing the gym or by eating the protein and everything here, isn't it here? Or maybe some modeling people is going to be get the skin which is very charming and everything because of their profession. But the same character, of course, this getting the muscle and getting that skin is a acquired character which they need for their sake, isn't it here? Can that same character can be able to produce in their offsprings, right? So let me tell you still more examples. Well developed muscles of athletes are not inherit to their children. Of course, the athletes has developed their muscle because of their profession. As they are going to produce the offsprings, they are not going to get this good muscle which is having to their parents actually. Making the perforations to pinna nose, and yes, so as we know that we are going to have a boring of ears or boring of this nose, we can say. because as we are the females, we want to have this jewelry or whatever, isn't it? As we are going to produce the offsprings, can our offsprings also will get this character which we acquired? No, right? The nose boring or maybe the ear boring, it is not going to happen. We are going to do again for them, isn't it? Even in the same case, circumcision of the penis in the Muslims tradition, as if you know that in the Muslims they are going to be make the cutting of the penis, the glans penis region which is present, they are going to be cut. That's what we will call it, is a circumcision of penis, which is their tradition as being a Muslim. Then the parent who is going to done with this one, the offspring what they are going to get produced will done with this circumcision of penis? No, right? All these are their acquired characters, right? So acquired characters never be get inherited. Any character, if it is getting into the offspring, that should happen only through the germ cells, not because of somatic cells also. They are not going to be get inherited. Only what is going to be inherited here? No, germ cells. Like in this way, the August Weismann has disproved the theory called as Lamarckism. It is a disproved theory. That's why now we are following or accepted theory with the whom here? No, Darwin theory. Clear? So hereby we are done with the Lamarckism theory. Now the next theory. The next theory we can call it as a mutation theory, right? The mutation theory. Actually in NCERT, this mutation theory has given in the mechanism of evolution. Under that topic it has given. As I told you starting of this video itself, the theories has given in the scattered manner. I just made it as some sequence better. You try to understand. Please try to watch all the series of evolution. By that you will understand the whole NCERT for sure for this topic of evolution. Now I am going to discuss about the mutation theory, and it was proposed by the scientist called as Hugo de Vries, right? Hugo de Vries is a scientist who has given this mutation theory. This mutation theory is very short and sweet, right? This scientist was related to Dutch botanist, and independent rediscovery of the Mendelism was also done by Hugo de Vries. I hope so you have an idea that when the Mendelian work was rediscovered by the Hugo de Vries, Carl Correns, 3 scientists will be there. I hope so you remember in the genetics chapter, right? So he has done the work upon the Mendelism also, and this Hugo de Vries, he did experiment regarding the formation of new species. He actually accepted the Darwin theory, and he just made a little changes with Darwinism theory. He conducted the experiment on a plant called as Oinothera lamarckiana, which is also called as evening primrose, right? Hugo de Vries has accepted the Charles Darwin theory. He just made a little changes and some extra things. I mean, imagine if this is a evening primrose plant where he has taken the same plant with the 2 characters like as a tall and as well as a dwarf, and he made a self-pollination of these plants. As you know that F1 is going to be get produced, right? So in that normal plants, just like as a parents, right? Just like as a parents, majority of the plants was just like as their parents, like as mostly the tall or maybe the dwarf it was there, right? But some plants, very few plants, there were totally different plant was there. In the sense, let me tell you example, that there was a red colored flowers was there, maybe the light yellowish color flowers was there, both got fused. It might be producing either the red colored or the yellow colored flower. Normal plants, majority it was there, right? But in that, as per the character called as color, not the red, not the yellow, or not the normal plants, little bit difference, right? In the color is happened because of large difference is suddenly happened in that plant or in that offspring because of large variation which is happened in some few plants, means because of mutation which is happened in some few plants, there is a difference in their color which is not similar to their parents here. No, like that of plants, how many has produced? Very few. Minor plants was totally different with their parents. Majority of the plants was normal like as their parents only, right? These different plants he took, again he made a self-pollination of these plants to get the F2 generation. In that also maximum were different plants which was just like as a parent, right? But again in that also still more different plants has got produced, right? So very fewer was still more different plants is there. In the sense, within the next generation it got some different character. Within the next generation, can I consider now this is F2? Within the next generation it got something different character again, not the major but the minor plants has got with the different characters here because of mutations which is happening in this one. So by doing this experiment for few generations continuously, he has done I think so nearly 7 to 8 generations here. By that he has given some silent features of mutation theory, like as after explaining that experiment here, whatever the observations he has done it here, he told that evolution takes place through what here, mutation. He has produced the different plants within the next generation, isn't it here? There is no dragging or lacking of the generation to generation. Within the next generation, because of some changes, huge changes happen, he produced a new species. That change of the species, that evolution of the species is happened because of what he told, mutation. Just now in this video only I had told you variations is happening was told by Charles Darwin, but he did not explain that how that variation will happen. That variation is happened because of what mutations. Mutations lead to the occurrence of the new variations. And the third, mutations appears all of sudden. The Hugo de Virus, after his experiment, he told that mutations will happen very sudden within the next generation, and it will be the random, it will happen directionless, it will happen. Darwin was told it as a directional will happen, and the variations which are showing it will be the rapid will happen here he told. There he told it as a very slowly it will happen here, right? And the large size single step mutation which is happening from one generation to next generation, he called it as a what here beta? Saltation. Saltation is nothing but it's a single step of mutation which is in a large size difference from one generation to next generation. We can call that as a saltation. And finally he told that the mutation is the origin of variation for evolution at which it can be get inherited. In the sense, Charles Darwin and Hugo de Virus both were speaking about evolution of species only. Darwin was told that evolution of species will happen because of variation. How it will happen, he did not tell. He told that will happen because of mutation. Darwin was told that the variations will happen very slow, but he is telling that the variation is happen sudden, rapidly it will happen, right? Darwin was told that variations will happen directional. Every generation the variation will happen, he told. But he is telling that the variations will not happen directional, it will be the directionless. It means a skipping of generation also will happen. Maybe the F1 generation will get a variation, F2 might not get, F3 will get the variation, F4 will not get variation. Skipping of generations in the variations will happen. That is a directionless we can say here now, right? And that too, that single step of mutation he call it as a what here saltation, right? Sometimes as per the theory or as per the Neet also they will ask you that difference between the Darwinism theory and the mutation theory, what both the scientists has explained. The differences you should know here. I hope so you got the differences. So to write it this one, just go back and just listen again and make some tabular column of difference between mutation and as well as a Charles Darwin. Now let me go on with the last theory, calling it as a Neo-Darwinism, which is also called as modern synthetic theory, right? This is very short again here. This is not given in the NCERT of course. That is Neo-Darwinism. It is updated version of the Darwin theory we can say, which we are now following the Neo-Darwinism. Ma'am, you only told that Darwin theory was accepted actually. Yes, of course. Along with that, Darwin theory is also correct. Even the mutation theory is also correct. Lot of scientists are having some controversy between these two theories. Some scientists are accepting the Darwin and some scientists are accepting the Hugo de Virus. No, this is what the correct, no, this is what the correct, because no one knows that how the evolution of species is happened. Because of all the experiments and all the things what they have done, they are telling you the theories that in the theories way that this is happened actually. But the Neo-Darwinism theory is accepting both Darwin plus Hugo de Virus. All the scientists, yes, Darwin is also correct. Yes, Hugo de Virus is also correct. Both the scientists together, their postulates and their versions, they kept under this theory called as Neo-Darwinism. Darwinism. It is updated version of Darwin's natural selection theory plus combines the ideas of mutation theory. Right? Mutation theory plus Darwin's theory both are correct according to Neo-Darwinism theory, because we can't judge. Sometimes you just justify me that how the species evolution can be sudden will happen, or it can be the slow will happen, or directional will happen, or maybe my next generation will not have any variation, isn't it here? It may or may not. It depends upon the nature, natural selection theory, isn't it here? So both the scientists will be the correct, so that they made this new theory called as Neo-Darwinism or modern synthetic theory. It accepts the both Darwin plus Hugo de Vries, isn't it here? But this point is not given in the NCERT, but you should know, it's a very important beta, you should know it here. Now the example under this modern synthetic theory which was given in the Hardy-Weinberg, which was given is the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. The process by which the variation appear and new species are formed is called mechanism of evolution. Under this mechanism of evolution only, we have a topic called as Hardy-Weinberg principle, which comes under Neo-Darwinism, right? But under this mechanism of evolution, they have given the first mutation theory. After that, they have given the Hardy-Weinberg principle, which comes under the Neo-Darwinism. I hope so. You understood that 4 theories totally, what I explained in this video, that is the theories of evolution of life forms, which I explained you the Darwinism theory, Lamarckism theory, mutation theory and Neo-Darwinism theory. Out of that, the accepted theory is a Darwin's theory. Lamarck theory is disproved. Why it is, you understood, I hope so clearly. That was done by the August Weismann. Mutation theory is also accepted. Together these theories was kept under the theory called as Neo-Darwinism theory. We can say that now our scientist is just following the Neo-Darwinism theory, which it includes the mutations theory and as well as Darwinism theory. I hope so you understand it very clearly, and hereby I am going to conclude this video. In the first 3 videos, as I told you here, 3 videos we have completed and this is a 4th video. If you found something useful for you in these videos, please like and share and comment. By that it can reach to more people and more students can happily will understand the NCERT content.